What's going on, everybody? My name is Ben and welcome back to the bench for another episode of our Edward 1/48 scale P400. Today we're going to go ahead and move on with the cockpit, do a little bit of painting, maybe some weathering, see what we can do. Now last time we overcoated everything with some nice primers, so that's looking pretty good. We do have to come back now and detail paint up the instrument panels, so that's going to be a little bit of work as well as some PE parts. And we have to come in with the detail painting here for the cockpit. Now for our overall color, we're going to be using this right here by Gunze. This is kind of a medium green, so that's going to be great, I'm pretty sure, for the Bell green that Bell would usually use for their cockpits. Again, that's what the internet's told me, so we're going to go with it. It won't be a perfect shade, but you know, paints vary, especially at factories and in the field. They're always slightly different shades. So let's go ahead and jump into our first time lapse, hit the spray booth. I want to go ahead and paint up the cockpit, post shade, a little detail painting, and add in some additional PE. Let's go ahead and get this party started, guys. Let's have some fun. Alright everybody, so we are back and I think that went decently. Not perfect, but I think it's going to work out just fine. So now we're going to go ahead and try something that I don't typically do. We're going to try to go ahead and do a little bit of chipping, and I'm going to try the sponge technique using a little bit of packing foam and some paint. In this case, we're going to use some Tamiya yellow green. And the only reason I'm using yellow green is because I've actually seen a couple of reference photos that do have a little bit of yellow green peeking through the colors in the cockpit. I don't know if that's right or wrong. I don't know, but it's going to be fun to try it out. It's just going to be a very subtle shift in color. I'm not going to go heavy with it. And even if I do go a little bit heavier with it in different areas, I can always come back and dry brush the interior green over top of that and you won't even notice it. So let's go ahead and jump in there, hit that time lapse and try to do a little bit of weathering, starting off with some chipping on the cockpit floor, the seat, the doors, sidewalls, anything we can. We're add a little bit of chipping and hope for the best. I also want to go ahead and try something I've seen online. If you guys have watched the YouTuber Night Shift, he has an amazing collection of awesome videos, mostly does armor and dioramas and whatnot, but he has this very cool technique of applying washes, shaders and whatnot on a flat coat. And this is actually what this is. It's very flat. So I'm going to go ahead and try to do a little bit of shading, a little bit of dry brushing, a little bit of blending with AK panel liners and some odorless white spirit. I don't know if it's going to work, but we're going to try it out. Worst case scenario, we just scratch it and we do something different. Hopefully, it'll add a little bit of subtle color variation, a little bit of dirt, a little bit of grime in different areas. Also, we have the seatbelts we got to put on, and I want to go ahead and do a little bit more dry brushing to really pop the details. I want to go ahead and add a flat coat on top of that to seal everything in. So let's go ahead and jump into our second time lapse. Let's make this work, see what we can do. And we are back. I gotta tell you, that was a lot of fun. The techniques that I've used, though I don't know what I'm doing necessarily, I think they looked pretty good. So let's go ahead and zoom in here for you, show you the parts, and get you guys a look at what we did. So starting off here with the cockpit floor. So you can see I did a little bit of dry brushing. It really kind of helped to pop up some of those details. And the subtle kind of shading and blending that I did with the AK panel liners, I think actually worked pretty well. It's not perfect, mind you, but honestly think it's a good step in the right direction. So I might try doing that a little bit later, maybe on another build. Also, we did go ahead and put the seatbelts onto the seat. Those worked out well, except for the back. I had to kind of cut them apart to get them looking right towards the front, so you actually can see that. You won't see the back of it, so it really doesn't matter. And we can glue it down into the actual cockpit floor. It looks something like this. Just drops right into place there, a little bit of glue, and I think we'll be looking awesome. We of course do have to unmask that glass right behind the seat, but that's okay. We can do that a little bit later. I love seatbelts, but man, photo etch seatbelts are always difficult to use. It's almost easier making your own sometimes. Now on the sidewalls of the fuselage, you can see I did a little bit of dry brushing, a little bit of wear and tear here. I got the throttle unit sticking out there with a little bit of silver on each of the levers, and that wire coming off that's scratch built, but it shows to be silver in my references, so I kept it silver. The other side, of course, I've got a couple of wires coming out there. I just dry brushed over top of that. That worked out okay. It's not perfect, but I think it's going to work just fine. And that does a pretty good job wrapping up the fuselage. Which brings us, of course, to the doors. Now, these will go ahead and glue into the fuselage, and I think they look okay. A little heavily weathered, yes, but I think once we get them installed, you're not really going to notice. Try to do a little bit of dry brushing to add in a little extra wear. I think it looks pretty good. Instrument panel looks awesome. I really like the photo etched effect here, plus we got the levers on there. I painted red. So that's going to be interesting to go ahead and attach and install. I do have to do the rudder pedals behind it, but we'll do that next episode before we close it all up. You can see here, it's going to go somewhere in front of the control stick right around here. Once we go ahead and glue that down, I think it'll be pretty cool. So yeah, not too shabby. But that is it, guys. I think we are good for today. We've done a lot of painting. We've done a lot of detail work here with some PE. I got to tell you, I'm not always really a big fan of photo etch, but in this case, it does add a little bit of detail there on the instrument panel. We do have to come back and build up the front wheel bay and of course put all the parts into the cockpit. Eventually, once we get that done, we can install the cockpit onto the sidewalls, and then we can go ahead and just see what we have to do for the internal wheelbase on that front nose, and of course add in some weight. And we can move on from there. Overall, though, I think this is a great kit. I'm having loads of fun going ahead and working on it. So until our next episode, guys, you know the drill. Go out there, get yourself some bench time, have some fun, build something cool. And we'll see you back here on episode number 4 for the Edward P400 in 1/48 scale. Thanks so much, everybody. Take care, and we'll see you soon.